My brother, please tell us your name and where you come from.
Salvation
In Christ,
in Christ.
salvation.
My name is Ngobeni. I'm from Malamulele.
Technical team, please play the clip.
Speak louder.
I want to kill him.
Why you want to kill him? Give him the water.
I don't want him to live.
Yeah?
I don't want him to live. I pray for him.
Pray for him. Then you enter him through prayer. How do you pray for him and enter him? How?
I just lay my hands on him and Isha.
Yeah?
I lay my hands on him and Isha. I'm the pastor. Oh, yeah.
Say God.
Yeah.
How many people are possessed by you?
Many.
Many.
I prayed for a lot of them and they break up with their marriages.
Yes.
Clap hands for Jesus. My brother, can you kindly share with us your testimony?
Salvation
In Christ,
in Christ.
salvation.
I came here last week. It was for the second time. So when I came here, I was not fine at all. The whole body of mine was in pain. My mind, like, I felt like I was in confusion. My body was weak. I was, even when I walk, it was sort of, I'm no longer living, it's just a corpse living. My soul was no longer there the way I was. Even my skin, it was changed, like I was in severe pains. My heart was so broken, everything. And on the other side, I had a serious pain in my heart. My heart was so much aching to such an extent where at some point it will just stop the way it was. So I like to thank God of the prophet, because God has delivered me last week. When I was praying there, I was praying, forcing myself to pray, forcing myself to connect so that I will pray in power. And yes, I've prayed. So later on, the prophet declared something. It was declaring for jobs or something. Then I find myself being touched by the power of God. Then I fell down. Later on, I find myself being in the front, lying down on the floor. So after that, the prophet prayed for people. Then we were just asked to queue here in the front. So when I was queuing on the front, the prophet was praying for people from the other side to where I was standing. So when he approached next to where I was standing, then I felt like I'm changing, my body is changing. Then I was wondering what's happening with me. Then the prophet approached me and he came to me, he touched my head. Immediately I felt something very heavy on my back, on the back of my shoulders. So then I find myself rolling down there. So I didn't understand what was taking place. That's what happened to me last week.
And you were able to hear your clip here. Can you just tell us what the demon or the spirit said during your deliverance?
Okay, the demon was saying that it has possessed me through receiving prayers or through being laid hand by a certain pastor.
And what the demon say? What can you tell us about that?
Okay, what happened with me is there was a certain church of which I used to visit sometimes. So most of the time when I visit to that church, the pastor used to pray for me. She's a woman. So the pastor used to pray for me, but after the prayer, I used to have some scary dreams and visions, not understanding what was taking place to my life. But I keep on going there, not having much idea. is it, this thing, is it real or something is fishing? Then I went there. I remember last time, as a boy, I've been trying just for a relationship. Every time when I find a girlfriend, I will just ask the pastor, my pastor, is this one the right one for me? She will say, I know, it's not the right one. I remember last time she insisted, she told me that if ever you find a lady, please make sure that you show me the picture. Every lady that I was finding, when I showed the picture, it's breakup after breakup after breakup. Not having much idea what was happening, but keep going to the church. So I stopped going to the church of that pastor. And then when I stopped going there, that thing of dreaming and everything, it was stopping. But at some point, I forced myself to go back. When I go back, immediately the pastor laid the hand on me. When I go back, I will start to experience some strange things, having problems with my life. If there's a relationship, there's going to be a breakup after breakup.
And there's something that you also told me. You said that you'd have moving object. How was it affecting your body as well? Like, were you having any objects moving? And how was that? Can you tell us about that?
Okay. The very same day that I went to church, before I went to that church, I will be fine. But my last time to go to that church, when after receiving the prayer from that pastor, I started to feel somehow like something, I felt something sitting on my chest. Then after that, I will feel something on my face, like a sort of a vein on my face. Then I was, what's happening? When I go to this church, then I start to experience something different. What's wrong? After that, I will feel a moving object also in my stomach, but under the abdomen. Most of the time when I'm sleeping, I will feel like there's something moving in my stomach down to the abdomen. Then that thing, it was very, very much irritating me to such an extent where it was also disturbing my mind. It was also making me to be hated by people. Just like where I'm working, my colleagues used to fight me, used to threaten me with warnings, used to write the email to my regional manager, and I've been told that if ever you do something, we're going to give you a warning. And if you get the warning before end of 3 months, we are not going to take you to the permanent position. So my life, I was living like a slave with fear. Actually, after receiving the prayer, I was living a life of fear. I felt like it was not me. Just after the laying of hand, receiving the hand, my whole body changed, my mind changed, my soul changed. I was full of fear. You know, I cannot even explain the kind of fear that I was imparted in my life.
So this church that you would go through, obviously we were not going to mention any names of the church. Was it like a normal running church where you'd get there, you'd pray, sing godly songs, they would preach normal songs? Or was there anything different? Or was it just any, like when you enter any other normal church?
It was sort of Christian church, but the activities that are, some of the activities that are taking place there, it's a bit suspicious. According to me, after my deliverance, I started to realize that no, some of the things that was happening, it's sort of a manipulation. Because before, when I was there was nothing wrong that I've noticed. There was nothing wrong that I've seen that it's wrong. But immediately after the deliverance, after the manifestation of the Spirit, then I back to my normal life. I started to realize that no, something was wrong with me. And on the other side, the pastor was convincing me, telling me that your deliverance is in my hands. If you don't come here, there's no way that you can be delivered.
So they were running a deliverance ministry as well. So it was a church, it was a normal church where you were singing Christian songs. If you would come in there under that spirit, you wouldn't notice that there was a deceiving spirit. Is that what you're saying to us?
Yes. Actually, the time I was there, I didn't notice that there was something wrong. It was sort of a normal church. Everything, they do it in a normal way, like those other Christian church. And I was not able to detect that something is fishing. But later, after my deliverance, I've realized that I was in a snare of the deceiver.
For how long were you going to this church, and what made you to keep going back to that church? What made you to keep going back there?
You know, when you are in a situation, family situations, or when you are desperate for the change of your life, or I was in a desperate of change of my life. So just because of that situation, I thought maybe it was the right place where I will get the help. Because I was believing that it's the place where I will be delivered and get the help and the change of my life. But only to find that when I was there, it was attack after attack after attack.
For how many years would you say approximately you went? 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, 2 years, 1 year?
Actually, I can say it's been a while because I was going, stopping, going there, stopping. Sometimes I will go, sometimes I will stop. But it's been a while.
Yet you were still going back, going back, going back, even after you were seeing all this trauma. So after coming here for the first time, receiving your deliverance here, you said it was for your second time, you received your deliverance. Was there any difference from when you went there and receiving your prayer? If there was, what was the difference?
After coming here last week for my deliverance, yes, there are changes in my life. You know, actually the kind of life that I was living, people used to hate me, people used to despise me. Even in my workplace, as I've mentioned, I was sort of a slave. In my office, we are 3 working there, but I was the one to clean. Every day when I get in there, the manager will tell me that you take your table, go and sit outside and give people pamphlets. That was my duty. And it was not on my contract, but just because the manager hated me because of what I was going through, I was forced to work as a slave outside. I was not allowed to sit in the office. I was not enjoying my job. And before I came here, I was thinking that, no, I think I must resign this job because I don't have peace. So I was in the process of writing a resignation letter because of the situation that I was going through. Being hated by people for no reason. Sometimes I will try by all means just to please the people by going extra mile, doing something to please them, but only to find that immediately after doing good, they will hate me back. And I was wondering that why. And this thing, it was giving me so much anger, ever just to revenge to the person who has hurt me. But immediately after my deliverance, there is no more anger, there is no more moving objects, there is no more...
Jesus. Clap hands for Jesus, somebody.
On Monday, after my deliverance here, I went to work. When I arrived there, another guy who went next to our office, he asked me a question that, hey, today you have so much confidence. What's wrong? I was so much happy that even some other people, they can see that.
For Jesus, you can do better than that, somebody. My brother, I want to ask you something. What advice would you give to the viewers all over the world regarding churches that are false and churches that are not false after what you have been through?
All I can advise to the viewers is be very careful of going to some churches, because some of the churches, they are there to destroy our lives and our future. They are there to deceive us and to put us in a cage, just like myself. You know, I just came here for 1 week, but now I can see that even my skin color has changed. I have changed completely. So those churches out there, be careful. Look for a church like the Church of Salvation, where the prophet preached the true gospel of God, where the prophet prayed for people and lead people to the light of God.
Clap hands for Jesus. Clap hands for Jesus, somebody. Viewers, we did not say any church is fake, but this is what it was revealed through the Spirit of God. My brother, we thank you for your testimony. May you keep on shining. May God bless you. Clap hands for Jesus, somebody. You can do better than that.